So let's get right into it. Number one, and very common, is if you have ever noticed white spots on your fingernails. What this is a sign of is a deficiency in zinc. And what causes that is too many carbohydrates or too much sugar at some point. Generally, it is a 3-month window of when you had this amount or too high of an amount of refined carbohydrates, sugars, etc. So think back 3 months ago, if you had those white spots, what kind of meals or what you may have been doing around that time, and you'll probably figure out when you had too many of these high carbs sugars in your diet. The next is oily skin. Now, a cause of the oily skin is an imbalance of your androgen hormones. These are more of the male type of hormones. And regardless of gender, it is also due to a deficiency of zinc. Now, with women in particular, these increased androgen hormones can actually elevate insulin, which tends to create more testosterone within a female hormonal system. And testosterone, the precursor of that as far as a mineral, is zinc, which is why it can be a zinc deficiency as well. Also, zinc is very, very important in metabolizing carbohydrates and sugars. So if you tend to have a higher carbohydrate, higher sugar diet, then it's much easier to become zinc deficient. Another one is cracking in the corners of your mouth or on the heels of your feet. And this specifically is a vitamin B deficiency. It is vitamin B2 or perhaps a vitamin B3. Flaking skin. Now, oftentimes you'll notice flaking skin. It may be on the forehead, maybe on the sides of your nose. And again, the cause of this is, believe it or not, dietary, but this time I'm not going to say sugar. All right. What I am going to say is that it is an elevation, an overconsumption of omega-6 fatty acids. Well, what are those? Those are vegetable oils. So it means that you're consuming in relationship to omega-3s too high of a diet in omega-6s, in vegetable oils. So you want to change that, and you'll find that especially if you get the proper forms of omega-3 fatty acids into your diet, that this flaking skin will just disappear. Next, yellow eyes. Well, that's otherwise known as jaundice. That has to do with liver, gallbladder function. It can also be due to a vitamin D deficiency. It's one of the ways to help the yellowing of the eyes. Chronic dry cough. Chronic dry cough, that is a sign of a calcium deficiency of all things. And one of the best forms of calcium to take in order to help with that chronic dry cough is called L-calcium lactate. So L-calcium lactate. Bleeding or red gums. This is a common sign of what many people think is a vitamin C deficiency. It actually is not. It's part of a vitamin C complex, but not the traditional vitamin C, which is ascorbic acid. What it is specifically a deficiency on bioflavonoid, also known as vitamin P. The P stood for permeability, and so it is a deficiency of this particular portion of the vitamin C complex. Night vision problems, where it's just very hard to see at night. Perhaps the glare really affects your vision when you're trying to drive at night. That is a deficiency in vitamin A. Now, not beta carotene, but the actual form of vitamin A that the body uses, which is retinol. Chapped lips, that is another sign of a vitamin deficiency, vitamin B2. And then the question becomes, what is the causation of these vitamin B deficiencies? Well, that is really due to the overconsumption of grain. Now you see, in grain should contain these B vitamins. But when it's refined, the main thing that is removed is all of these good nutrients, and especially the B vitamins. So when you ingest these grains that are refined, that actually robs your body of the vitamin B that is there, or perhaps even being produced. Asthma. So asthma is quite clearly vitamin D deficiency. That's why if you find children especially who, during summer months, it's like their asthma clears up for some reason. Many times people think, well, it's because, not too many seasonal allergies during that period of time. But really it's because they're more likely to be outside, running around, exercising, playing as children should do, and getting the vitamin D from the sun exposure. Pitting edema. So that's when you can put your thumb on around your ankles or maybe even up further in your leg, and it leaves a pit and stays there for a period of time. This pitting edema is actually a sign of a deficiency in a mineral, and specifically potassium. Angina. This is cramping of the heart, and it is a specific sign of a particular tocopherol or vitamin E that is deficient within the diet. Again, this is a sign of consuming too much grain. So you got to cut those grains out of your diet. Craving ice. Craving ice is a sign of an iron deficiency. The best source of iron is in red meats and especially in liver. So you may want to consider having liver, 1, 2, or maybe even more times per week. Leg and calf cramps. Now that can be a sign of several different mineral deficiencies. It could be magnesium, it could be calcium, it could be potassium, and it could be sodium, or a ratio of all three of those. So you can try your hand at increasing any of those minerals, seeing if that helps your calf and leg cramps. What about feeling irritable or having excessive thinking? I find many clients tend to, at night, when they're trying to sleep, they wake up, they have this excessive thinking, they can't stop it. That can be a sign of, guess what, a vitamin B deficiency, vitamin B1. So again, you want to remove these refined foods, the refined grains, the high carbohydrate foods, the sugars from your diet. Loss of the outer third of your eyebrows, that is a thyroid sign, and it can actually be a sign of an iodine deficiency. And there are a couple of forms of iodine. Potassium iodide is one of the most commonly used forms of iodine for thyroid function. Tightness in the right trapezius, in this area, is a sign of gallbladder or potentially liver issues as well. It can be specifically congestion of the bile within the gallbladder. That may mean that you need to have some bile salts or maybe an extremely high quality TUDCA to help start moving and decongesting that bile within the gallbladder. Nightmares. Once again, this is a B vitamin deficiency. Oftentimes with children, they can get nightmares, and that is caused again through the ultra refined foods, the high carbohydrate diets, the high grain diets, high sugar diets, etc., etc., etc. Specifically, it is vitamin B1 that is deficient, and what happens is that vitamin B1 is very important in the neurological function. It specifically is important in the function of part of the brain called the amygdala, which controls feelings of fear, and so that can be one of the main things that is affected when a person is experiencing these nightmares. Craving salt or salty foods could be any time of the day, but especially at night. This is a sure sign, believe it or not, that you are deficient in sodium, so you will want to consider getting a high quality form of salt, an unprocessed form of salt. Not just regular sea salt. That really doesn't mean anything. You need to make sure that this salt is an unprocessed form. How about stiff or low back pain? Stiff back or low back pain, that is a sign, can be a sign of vitamin D deficiency. So take some vitamin D3, see if it may help that stiff back or even the low back pain. Craving dirt. Now granted, this is not common, but you occasionally do run across individuals who say that they crave dirt, or even pets. Have you ever seen your dog start eating dirt and you're wondering, why is my dog eating mud? Well, it's for the same reason as humans feeling that they're craving dirt. And that is, again, a sign of being deficient in iron. So, best way to solve that, as I said previously, red meats, especially liver, also give those to your animal. It will help their iron issues. How about erectile dysfunction? Erectile dysfunction is specifically low testosterone. As I remarked earlier, what's important for testosterone as a precursor is zinc. So as far as the deficiency, it's likely that that individual is low in zinc. If they have blood sugar issues, well, zinc, as I mentioned earlier, is very important in methylation and metabolization of sugars, carbohydrates. And so therefore, that can also be why they are low in zinc. So they need to look at their diet, clean up the diet, make sure it is not having the processed foods and the carbohydrates and the sugars, etc., and perhaps supplement their diet with zinc as well. And finally, depression. Depression can be a sign of a deficiency in vitamin D. So you take vitamin D, or you give an individual who's displaying signs of depression, fairly high levels of vitamin D, and you will be surprised how that just kind of perks up the feeling of well-being. It's very hard to go outside on a beautiful day in sunshine and feel totally terrible. And the reason is, in part, because that sunlight helps your body create and manufacture vitamin D. Vitamin D is actually, it's not really a vitamin, it is a hormone, and it's necessary, it's essential for several different processes within the body. So vitamin D, when it's deficient, can really affect quite a bit. So I hope you found these 23 surprising indicators of poor health helpful and interesting. If you did, then please like, share, comment on this video. It's the only way that others will learn about it and see this information. And if you are needing help in your health journey, then that is what we are here for. I invite you to an initial consultation to find out if our Total Health Restoration Program, which is a 6-month program, step by step, helping you every step of the way to gain your health back or to reach your health goals. You can call our office, schedule for that, and see if how much we can help you and what we can do for you. Once again, I'm Larry Brunellen, the founder of the Natural Health Clinic. Thanks for watching.